You know, folks, the fact of the matter is, here in the South, did you know about the time that bass comes off a bed? In other words, when they're finished bedding, bluegill and shellcracker, well, they go on bed. And bass of all sizes, whether it's females or the males, will hang around these bluegill and shellcracker beds and feed heavily on them. I tell you what, folks, I've caught a lot of big bass just focusing on fishing bluegill and shellcracker beds. A lot of these bass that's hanging around in these shallow water areas will stay shallow just for the purpose of feeding on bluegill. Yes, you've heard me right. A lot of these fish are shallow water oriented bass. Every full moon when bluegill and shellcracker go on bed, these fish should be there to feed on them. Although not all bass do that. A lot of bass go deeper on ledges, and some mid-depth bass are just like crappie or any other fish. They're not doing the same thing at all times. Let me show y'all a great way to catch these bass around these bluegill and shellcracker beds. This is the time of the year to fish like this. The only thing is that, you know, you're going to normally catch a lot of fish because, like I said, when they come off a bed, they're slow, they're kind of weak, but they're hungry. You're going to catch a lot of fish by using this pattern. This pattern will work most anywhere. Oh, there's fish, there's fish. Golly, folks. This is a good one right here. I couldn't catch up to it there for a little bit. I mean, this is a good fish. Golly, I can't tell you, I always got all up in that vegetation. We'll just hold the pressure on him. Maybe he'll come on out of there. I see him laying right there. There he come loose. Oh, he's back in some more though. There we go. That's a good bass. I didn't mean him to get all up in this stuff like this, but let's go ahead and net him. That was a strong fish right there. Golly, heavy fish. Let's put us a little bit of water right here. Protect the bass. That's a good bass. And let's talk about what we're going to be doing today. Whoa. What we're doing today. Well, good morning, folks. It's Richard Gene, the fishing machine here. That's a good fish right there. Big bass. Look at there what that fish has got in her mouth right there. This is a female. As you can see, she don't have much of a belly, but she's a good doggone fish. She was up real shallow, and she was up there around some bluegill and shellcracker beds. That's what I'm fishing. That's the pattern that I'm fishing today. I'm looking for bluegill, shellcracker beds, and I'm fishing with this bait right here, and we'll talk about that right here directly. Let's go ahead and let this big girl go. Good, solid fish right there, no doubt. But what she's doing is hanging around these bluegill and shellcracker beds, getting her a bite of bluegill and shellcracker occasionally. There she goes. Folks, right now the surface temperature is at 76 degrees. Now these bass are coming off bed, evidently, and what they'll do is they'll hang around in shallow water for a while. Coincidentally, about the time that they come off bed, bluegill and shellcracker go on bed. So it's a perfect situation for largemouth bass. They'll hang around these beds, which they have to stay in shallow water for close to anywhere from, they say, 2 to 3 weeks, so that their air bladder has to acclimate because they've been up shallow for so long before a lot of these fish will go back deeper on the ledges and stuff like that. So a lot of the fish will do that, and some of them will stay up shallow year long. Some of them are just shallow water fish. But what we're doing right now is using a unique bait that these fish are not used to seeing. This is a Nico Hellgrammite obsidian, and that's a 2/0 hook in it, Gamakatsu. And if you notice, I don't have a bullet weight. I have a 1.5 gram nail weight in the bait, and I'm using 12-pound test line and a 6.5 foot H2O Express rod. When they first come out with them, this is the very first one that they come out with, medium action, real light. But I'm using a reel that was made around the mid-90s, and a lot of y'all are probably familiar with it. Well, I'm pretty sure you are. It's a Garcia Black Max 3600 series. It has a one-piece aluminum frame, and this reel, by the way, was made in Sweden. So this is one of the old good classics. I mean, now this is no doubt a creature bait. I mean, look at this dude. Big old long appendages on it. Just a big old gnarly looking Hellgrammite. There ain't no Hellgrammites out here. This is a lake. Your Hellgrammites is going to be in creeks, rivers that has current present, rocky, pea gravelly, rocky type situations. That's where your Hellgrammites is going to be. There's none out here. So why did that big bass hit this Hellgrammite? Bass don't care. You know, I know they can be finicky at times, more so this day and time than they ever has been. I count the fishing pressure, folks. But when you use bait types like this that they haven't never seen before, you're going to catch bass. They're just an ambitious predator that'll eat most anything. They don't know what this is. They just look at it and they don't think. I think instinctually they think, well, that's a good old something to eat, and they'll eat it. They're just that mean. And that's the only explanation that I have. But now in creeks and rivers, they're used to seeing them. That right there proves that a bass will hit most anything. Now I have this rigged up with a 1.5 nail weight inserted right there. 1.5 gram nail weight. That's equivalent to a 1/16 of an ounce. Now this bait is falling very, very slow, but I wanted it to. The other option that I could have done in this 2 to 4 feet of water, which I'm going to focus on this morning, could have been probably an 1/8 ounce, twice as heavy. But I didn't rig one up like that. I've got two rigged up on the 1/16 ounce, and the reason why is I want it to fall slow and lazily, because these fish are tired. They've just gotten off of bed. Some of them still on bed, but they're starting to come off pretty heavy, and they don't want a bait that's really moving real quick. They're tired, they're give out. So this bait is going to be, or this presentation is going to be made to order today. They're going to hit it anywhere from 2 feet to 4 feet. Yeah, let's say that is what I'm going to focus on. And yes, I am looking for bluegill beds or sandy spots like this one out here in front of me. It's not a big sandy spot right there, but it is a spot that could hold a fish. Anything that resembles a bluegill or shellcracker bed, I'm going to make a cast into, folks. And you know, like on up here, we'll move on up here just a little bit and get out of this real heavy grass right here. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Right up here above us, That's either going to be a bluegill shellcracker bed or it's just sand. Either way, even those little bitty small bluegill, immature bluegill that's not on bed, will relate to sandy areas like this. And I don't want to go too much closer to the bank. I want to fish on out here where the sand is before it stops. Out here in the deeper water. That's my pattern. That's what I'm working with right now. There he is, folks. Golly. My goodness. I set the hook wrong on that fish. I guarantee you. He's pulling, but he ain't that big, but daggone it. Come on in here, boy. It's not really a bad fish. I'm not going to gripe about it. But I set the hook wrong. My goodness, I hurt my thumb. But that's a good bass. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Just let him go. That fish has got a lot of olive green on his back. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful fish. Let's let him go. Go on back. Hurt my thumb like that. That's my fault, though. I had my thumb. I don't know how I had it. Boy, it bent it back when I set the hook. That fish hit it. I felt a bump, bump. He started boogieing out, and I thought, well, I better go ahead and set the hook. That's quite a few fish right out in here. If this wind would settle down just a little bit. There's a fish right there. There we go. A lot of fish out here. I don't think they're big, but if that wind would settle down a little bit, we'd catch them. They're eating this Hellgrammite up. Where you going, boy? One got some power. Come on up here. Not bad little bass right there. I'm not going to gripe about that at all. Just let him go. Beautiful little fish. I tell you what, I enjoy this kind of stuff so much, folks. It's just, words can't describe it. Fishing to me is a sport. Well, y'all know it's a sport second to none. Nico products are rubber. There's a big long name for what they make this out of, and I'm not good with big words, but I understand. I mean, I'm smart enough to understand that it's rubber. It's a stretchy rubber, very buoyant. I mean, look here. I could stretch this thing out as much as it's hard. You can't hardly pop or wear out one of these baits. You can catch just hundreds of fish on them, providing you don't lose them. They sink a lot slower than plastic does. And the way I rigged this bait, well, I want to show y'all real quick. You know, I've been getting a lot of questions about that, especially for these smallmouth I've been catching and stuff like that. I leave the hook just exposed like that. Now this particular bait right here has a groove in it where you can push down. See how flush that hook is? Push it down into the groove. It's mortised in there. It's recessed down in there. So that's a good thing. It won't grab a hold of vegetation or anything like that. Now, if you were to text pose this like you do conventional plastic, the point, you would miss far more fish than you would catch, folks. This rubber is tough and it just don't work well. I mean, you might hook one every once in a while, but this is the toughest stuff I've ever seen in my life. So that's what I do. I leave that thing, that point exposed. But this is a lazy bait right here. I mean, look how slow that bait's falling. See that? But it is falling. It'll get down there. That's what I want. As this bait's falling, those little legs quiver. Look, see that right there? They're quivering. So boy, it looks alive. Make another cast in there. There's a bare spot right there, big sandy area. And I don't know, it could be a big bluegill shellcracker bed. Or just the opening, just because it's sand right there, they'll relate to that. Like I told y'all, a lot of times there's a lot of little small bluegill around the inner edges of areas like that. Here's a fish. See what I'm talking about? Almost messed up right there. So, but that's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Y'all excuse me, I get excited. I sure enough did when I was tournament fishing. I mean, but that's all that is just a sandy spot. There's a good fish right there. Ain't nothing wrong with him. Hooked in the bottom of the lip, which it happens sometimes. Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that. Chunky little fish. Let's let him go right here. But that was a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Right there. And that sandy spot or bare spot is out in here, you know, quite a ways from the bank. But that's just what I'm talking about, developing patterns. Pattern fishing is something that I used to practice all the time. And it makes a difference how you approach pattern fishing. You know, when I get done with this area, what I got to do, really, if I want to keep catching fish, is to find the same situation. In other words, same depth of water, same habitat as far as grass, same situation as far as bare spots, like I just caught that fish off of, or bluegill beds. We're also doing that, and just repeating that. It's just going to be in a different part of the lake, you see. Here's another small bare spot right there. We'll try it. See, I'm ignoring all the grass because there's plenty of grass. Grass is everywhere. What I'm looking for on this flat is difference, something different. And in this case, it's bare spots. Y'all get what I'm talking about? Whatever there's the least of, you don't want to just fish grass. Oh, there's a lot of grass out here. Them fish is out here. No, you want to fish something different. Okay, in my opinion. Bait like small bluegill, even shad, will relate to spots like that because it's something different. They kind of feel protected if they're on top of it because they got grass surrounding them all the way around them, you know. And that's what's attracting these bass. But this Hellgrammite, the way this thing is not standing straight up, folks, because of the way I put this nail weight in here. It's like, here's the bottom. It's standing at about a 45-degree angle, about like that. Now, if I had a bullet weight on the line right here, it would stand straight up in a Ned rig fashion. So, and not that it matters, either way will work, but I'm just letting y'all know that it's not standing straight up because of where the location of the nail weight is. There's a fish. There we go. Golly. Y'all see that? My. We got some fish on the edge of this. I missed one when I first pulled up here. Golly, that thing. I can't tell you how that little fish is just whooping me. My goodness. Come on in here, boy. That's a chunk. That's a chunky little fish right there. Goodness gracious. I think they're just, folks, I've caught a lot of bass. Lots of them. Let's let this one go. Now, I ain't caught any real big ones. Just the one good quality fish. But I'm catching a lot of fish. I've noticed, though, these fish, these largemouth, they hit this bait to murder it. I mean, they hit it. Boom. Well, folks, I'm going to get on out of here. I want to say God bless each and every one of y'all. Thank y'all for all the great comments. I appreciate y'all more than you'll ever know. Hey, I've been restraining this. I'm trying to act civil, but it's hard to do. Whew. And remember, go fishing when you can, because it's good for you.